So this app is about to end. Something that I would be remiss if I didn't say. Your supervisors and many of the people you work with in management are not happy with their lives. Take it from someone who has an HR degree, because I like to study people. And I wanted to know how the company felt and how the worker experience was, of course. And also a master's. And when I say in every situation, people are cosplaying to have joy, even social media, obviously. But at these jobs, they're like, oh, I took this trip and that. When you meet a person's going to enter your job arena. And you're going to be like, this person's just done all these great things and all that. Why do they work here? Me, I was a person who liked information. So I worked at several places to literally obtain things you can't learn in college. So in that event of things, having joy, what I will tell to the autistic person watching this who is highly intelligent, hide your joy. Superman didn't come to work. Clark Kent did. Do not. When I say I dressed homely and I was offered supervisory positions then, I seemingly was depressed, dressed homely, and was just, at that time, this was after my traumatic brain injury. So I really didn't talk much. I just was a bit more aloof than usual. The person you see here, this person definitely doesn't get supervisory positions at these jobs, because the thing is, I'm Black. Black women are not allowed to be polymathic autistic and absolutely amazing. Because I know you're thinking, oh, she's going to talk about racism, right? No, not just that. Even Black people will limit you because you are causing them to look bad. Even though you all should not be put in the same group, like they literally will say Filipino, they will say, what else? Laos, they'll say Japanese. These are all Asian people, but for some reason they put all Black people together instead of allowing us to define ourselves, even though we're nothing alike. We all came from different parts of the diaspora. So you and me, we're not the same. Kinfolk and skinfolk aren't the same. So when I saw people, I judged them based on their character. I did get hemmed up and caught up in the we're all Black. No, we're not. Because we don't all have the same values. Values matter. Understand that. So at the end of the day, no, go to work as Clark Kent. Do not show up as Superman with the Birkin bag or anything that makes you look like you don't need this job, because people are jealous. You're going out the country, you're doing whatever you may be doing because you got a man that pays whatever, because I've already been there, done that, got the ticket, got the... Do not go to these people's jobs, especially with these women who are freaking heinous and miserable, and they'll be married, but they're married to some douchebag who they got to pay his bills, and you got a man paying your bills, and you're there because you want to be there. And people will say, well, we want people who want to be here. No, they don't. They want people who have to be there, and they don't have any other choice but to be there. If they just had people who wanted to be there, they would have to lift the standards of work and what it is to be so to work. And when you understand that, and also HR is for the company, not for you. I didn't learn anything about autism. And when I got in my HR degree, nothing about neurodivergency. They will call people, what do you call that? Gen Z is in younger millennials are so entitled. A lot of these kids are neurodivergent. This is ableism. HR is our ableist. Literally, there's a guy on here who talked about it. And I'm like, you don't even know that you're being ableist right now. And that's the problem I have. So if you're thinking, I'm just going to show them how great I am, right? And you're a person of color, especially, or even if you're a woman. No, you're not. You are going to get, and they're like, oh, she's so bubbly. I want to pull that light and energy out of her. I don't care where you are. It could be work. It could be the military, any space, any place. Do not be Clark Kent. And don't even be Clark Kent, because he actually looked a little bit too nice. You need to seem homely. You need to be Ugly Betty. Because when Ugly Betty did a glow up, she had more issues, but people were happy for her because she started out as Ugly Betty. You got to be Ugly Betty. I'm sorry. Forget the Clark Kent Superman. You need to be Ugly Betty. When you go to work, you need to be Ugly Betty. Because when people underestimate you and all that, it's so much better when you just fly under the radar. When you're skating and you can be a POS, like, because you're Ugly Betty. You talk about a lot about glamour magic. You need to know what reverse glamour magic is, because I used to do that. I had to do reverse glamour magic to make it and to be offered positions. Reverse glamour magic. They don't want a little light, bright, pretty person up in there who literally, unless you went to an Ivy League school and your family's highly connected, that's the only way, only place. Other than that, no, Ugly Betty. Because no, they don't. And I don't care if you're in the South. I was in DC. I've worked in California. I've worked in Texas. I've worked in Maryland, Virginia. I'm talking about all around. I can intimidate a person just by having a conversation. Why? Because you'll say you went somewhere for a weekend and I'm like, yeah, I went backpacking over here and did this. And you're like, well, how is she doing that? So when I say, if you got people paying your bills or doing things for you and these people are working and you're working at their job, telling them how to invest their money, make it grow, even though you might be making sense and you know patterns, you know all these things, right? They will try to they will disintegrate you. I was in a car accident literally caused by a job that almost cost me my life. That's how far jealousy will go. They will try to do things to you that literally shut you down. So hide that. And I don't mean, because I know it feels like lying. What I'm saying is be Ugly Betty. Don't tell people about what you're doing with your life and your pastime and all this good stuff. Like, I saw a lot on here on TikTok about how people were like, oh, I do this. People didn't even know I had a social media. And I worked in the government, had clearance and all. They didn't know nothing because I didn't put my real name out here. And the things you guys share, I would never share those things that would cost me my job. So, and even just the integral part of it all, because this right here, any of this platform business and social media can end and we have to work. Work is still going to be required. You need money to live. And so what I would say is be Ugly Betty. That was a great show. Literally, that girl went to work every day. Be Ugly Betty, because everybody can't be a Project Mandy. Even when you are a doctor, I've seen Black women doctors who have to conform because they can't tell on other doctors or what's going on, because you know why? They will get blackballed. So when I say be Ugly Betty, and mind your business. That is the best way to get promoted. That's the best way that worked for me. And I didn't mean to make this long, but that's you know how I roll. But I did stay on topic this time. I didn't go all over the place like some lady said. You all will be missed though.